Hi, I'm Esther Derby. I support leaders and managers to create great environments for great work. In an earlier video, I explained how to offer feedback, what you need to think about, how you need to prepare. If you missed that video, there's a link in the description and at the end of this video. In this video, I'm going to share some ideas about what happens after you prepare in the actual feedback conversation. These are the two most important things. Make sure it's a good time for both you and the other person. You both need to be in a space where you can listen and absorb information. Second, be ready to let go of your plan. I know, I told you to write it down and practice. Preparing to offer feedback is super important because it helps you be clear in your own mind about what you want to have happen and what you want to say. So my husband did a brief stint as a high school teacher, and he'd let his students bring in 1 page of notes, crammed as full as they could get it into every test. And one day one of his students said, I put in all this work making my 1-pager, and then I didn't need it. Bingo! The same with your script. Preparing reduces some of the anxiety that's normal and natural with this kind of conversation. But be ready to let it go. You need to respond to what's happening in front of you. Be in the now. So let's consider a scenario and what might happen if you don't let go of your script. Suppose you want to talk to Sally about a client pre-sales meeting that happened earlier in the week. Sally interrupted Jan, who has just started a new role as pre-sales technical support, to interject a bunch of technical details. So you start by saying something like, "So Sally, I want to talk to you about that client meeting that happened earlier this week." Now, if Sally says, oh gosh, I bet this is about how I rolled over Jan with the technical stuff. I should have let her take the lead. I'll go talk to her. Your work is done. You wanted to create awareness about a past behavior that might influence future behavior, and it seems like Sally is right there with you. But maybe Sally needs a reminder about the data. So you might say, "Yeah, in our meeting, you jumped in with some technical details 3 times while Jan was giving her presentation." Now, if Sally responds, "I wasn't aware of that. Oh gosh, it's a habit and I'm sorry because I can see where that would be a problem for Jan in her new role. Thanks for letting me know. I'm going to try to catch myself next time and I'm going to go talk to Jan right now." But if she says, "Yeah, Jan hadn't mentioned these details and I thought the clients really needed to know," then you mention the impact. So you say something like, "It's going to be harder for the client to look to Jan for answers if you jump in. She's new to this role and she needs to establish trust with them. When you give all the answers, it's hard for her to build credibility." Now, if Sally says, "Oh my gosh, I totally get it. I'm so embarrassed because I really don't want to undercut Jan," your job is done. Now, most of the Sallys I know get it by this point, so you don't need to make a request. But if not, suggest that Sally let Jan take the lead. You might brainstorm other ways that Sally could support Jan or add important details without interrupting the flow of the presentation. As soon as the other person gets it, you stop. Your job is done. Don't stick to your script for the sake of finishing your speech. In sales training, they call it selling past the close when people keep talking after the sales has been made. Often when that happens, the salesman loses the sale, and the same thing can happen with feedback. Failing to acknowledge the other person's response can lose the chance for insight, and it will probably damage your relationship. They'll get pissed off because they feel unheard and rolled over, which is actually the case, even if that wasn't your intention. So listen with curiosity. Give people a chance to respond and add new information. You may learn something super useful. So I've run into managers who view any explanation as an excuse. This is not helpful. Performance is a function of the person and their environment. So learning what's going on in their environment that gets in the way of doing great work is to your advantage, especially if you're a manager. So be prepared to listen with curiosity and empathy. Get the full story. You may learn about issues or dependencies, or maybe even your own unclear delegation. It might be a great opening to brainstorm different ways to manage the situation, or it may be a chance for you to look at whether other people experience similar obstacles, so you can do some work on the system. Holding someone accountable for something they don't have control over isn't feedback, and it isn't good management. It's abuse. Now, most of the time, our worst fears about feedback conversations don't happen, especially when you offer feedback before the issue becomes a big deal and when you don't wait until there's no time to make any corrections or changes. So don't wait till the annual review. Just don't. Just do it. However, once in a while, someone has a strong response to feedback, and I'll talk about that another time. If you found this valuable, subscribe to my channel and like the video. It helps other people find it. Thanks for watching. See you in another video.